Hello everyone, from today we are going to start a new series in the subject of chemistry. And the first topic which we are going to cover is the basic concepts of chemistry. Let's start off with a quote. Chemistry is the science of molecules and their transformations. It is the science not so much of the 100 elements, but of the infinite variety of molecules that may be built from them. Now let's look at various processes in our day to day life where chemistry is involved. In fact, chemistry is involved in each and every process of our life. Take, for example, a human body. There are n number of reactions which takes place which supports life. While removing a stain from a piece of cloth, we use a detergent, which is a chemical substance. There is some kind of chemical reaction taking place and which helps in removal of that particular stain. The entire 2.2-meter long strand of DNA is also composed of many elements. Hence, chemistry is involved in each and every sector. It is an integral part of our life. The basic constituents of matter are atoms and molecules. Now, I would like to tell you all the structure, the basic structure about an atom. It consists of a positively charged nucleus, which consists of protons, which are shown as red color over here, and neutrons, which are the neutral particles. Basically, the protons and the neutrons are responsible for the mass of an entire atom. Besides the protons and the neutrons inside the nucleus, there are also negatively charged particles, and these are electrons. And these electrons revolve around the nucleus in circular orbits. A molecule is formed when two or more atoms combine together. The atoms may be of the same type or of different elements. A common example is a water molecule. It is made up of two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. Now, why are we learning these basic concepts of chemistry? Is the main question that which we need to ask. We are learning this topic mainly so that we can answer the following questions. Can we see, weigh, and perceive the atoms and molecules? Is it possible to do so? Can we count the number of atoms and molecules in a given mass of matter? If a compound of few grams is given to you, is it possible to count the atoms and molecules? Is it possible to have a quantitative relationship between the mass and the number of these particles? And the answer to all these questions is yes, it is possible. When we come across a matter, matter is nothing but something that occupies space and has mass. There are three states of matters which we are going to look into, but there is also a fourth state, which is the plasma state. The first state which we are going to look at is the solid state. The solid state comprises of the entities, the atoms and the molecules, which are held together strongly. The bonds between these entities are so strong that the atoms and molecules cannot move around. They can only oscillate at that particular position. The second state of matter is liquid. Here the molecules have little liberty to move around. For example, if you take some kind of liquid in a cup, that liquid will take up the shape of that particular cup. So the molecules are moving around, but they are not crossing that particular boundary. And the last state of matter which we are going to consider is the gaseous state. It is a state of matter in which the molecules are free. If you take a gas in a container and you leave it open, the gas will escape. Hence, gases are stored under high pressure so that the molecules remain within the container. A solid is converted into liquid by the process of melting, and a liquid is converted back to solid by the process of freezing. Vaporization is the process by which liquid is converted into gas, and a gas is converted back to liquid by the process of condensation. There is also a process by virtue of which solid is converted into gas, and this process is called as sublimation. A typical example is iodine solid. Iodine solids can easily get converted into gaseous vapors. And a gas can also be converted back into a solid. And this process is called desublimation or deposition. These are the basic definitions of what the physical states of matter are. And we have to keep in mind that the energy keeps on increasing as we go from solid to liquid to gas. Now let's classify the matter. A matter which occupies space and has mass can be divided into two subclasses: the pure substance and a mixture. A pure substance has distinct properties, whereas a mixture do not have a distinct property. Mixtures consist of two or more pure substances. A pure substance is further divided into elements and compound. Elements cannot be separated into simpler substances by chemical methods, whereas compounds can be separated by chemical methods such as electrolysis. We will learn about electrolysis in electrochemistry. Mixtures are either homogeneous mixtures which are uniform throughout. The composition of a homogeneous mixture is uniform throughout, and a heterogeneous mixture does not have a uniform composition and properties. The physical methods of separation of mixtures include filtration, distillation, and crystallization. This is a basic overview which shows whether the matter has a constant property and composition, whether the pure substance is simplified chemically or no, and if the mixtures are uniform throughout. We all know that homogeneous mixtures are uniform throughout, whereas heterogeneous are not. Then compounds can be simplified chemically, and pure substances does have constant properties and compositions. The common examples of heterogeneous mixtures are suspensions, emulsions, solid sol, and aerosol. Homogeneous mixtures includes gas mixtures. A typical example is air. Solutions, for example, a sugar solution, and alloys like brass, bronze, and solder. Now for a recap. Atom is the smallest unit that makes up the molecules and compounds. Molecules are a group of two or more atoms. So when two or more atoms of the same type or different types combine together, they form molecules. And a compound is formed when two or more atoms of different elements combine together in a definite ratio. The term definite ratio here is more important by specifying the definition of compounds. Now, I would like to give you all a small glimpse of what we are going to learn further in the course of this session. We will look into the physical properties of matter. By physical properties, I mean to say that these properties can be measured without changing the identity or composition of that substance. Means we can just observe, we can see, okay, so we can see the color of that particular substance and we can conclude that this is a particular form of that compound. Or we can hear certain sound, a crackling sound while heating the compound in a test tube. So we can conclude, so this is that class of that compound. We can touch and feel whether the powder given to us is grainy or smooth in nature, whether it is a gel-like substance. Through odor, we can find out if it is some kind of sweet smelling substance or rotten egg smells, or if it is giving some kind of fruity smell. And lastly, we are going to see how we can measure temperature using three different scales. So, let's meet in the next session where we are going to look into the physical properties of matter and how to calculate them along with their units. Thank you very much. For any queries, you can leave your questions in the comment box.